So I started playing the guitar when I was 7 years old, and for the first few years I made so many huge mistakes with my playing. It really held me back. Comically, for the first year or so, I thought I had to play the guitar with it laying down on my lap and just using one finger to fret the notes. Yeah, I really did that. So with this in mind, I thought I would share 5 really useful tips for anyone who's just started out playing, or maybe you're just about to start doing some gigging, or maybe you're doing some recording. These tips that I'm going to share will hopefully help you sound better, help you make better musical decisions, and help you get more enjoyment out of playing your guitar. So tip number 1 that I'd like to talk about is not pushing down too hard when you're fretting your guitar. I come across so many people who are really gripping the neck when they're playing. And what that'll do is, rather than getting like this sound, you'll get this sound. You can hear that, hopefully you can hear that slightly out of tune. It's just being able to relax your grip with your fretting hand, not to push the string down so that it touches the fretboard. That will actually pull the string slightly out of tune like this. And you really want to avoid that if you can. The idea really is all you got to do is push down the string so that it's making contact with the fret that you're on. So you don't need to push the string all the way down so it makes contact with the fretboard. And that will really help your playing be more in tune, but also, it'll just sound nicer. Another thing when you've got a really hard grip is you might have a tendency to pull down the string slightly and bend it slightly out of tune. I see that quite a lot when I'm teaching, especially with beginners. Is one thing, you can just relax. Another thing I'd like to talk about is when you're practicing at home, sometimes you're sitting around laying, you're on a sofa or in a nice chair. People sometimes practice laying back like this. And whether you notice it or not, the weight of your arm, your fretting arm, is going to be bending the neck back slightly and also drawing the strings down. And if you get too used to doing that, you will not be noticing that you're actually pulling your guitar slightly out of tune when you're doing it. So I'd recommend sitting upright just to make sure everything's nice and in tune. Tip number 2, record yourself. It's a great idea to get your phone out while you're practicing, or if you're in a band practice, just record yourself playing and listen back critically. Don't beat yourself up, but listen back critically. Are you bending in tune? Have you got open strings ringing? Is your tone right for that part you're playing? It's a great way to monitor your progress and listen to your playing. When you're playing, when you're in the heat of battle, you're not necessarily paying that much attention to what you're doing because you're concentrating on what you're actually doing, but your ears will be listening in a slightly different way. So if you can record yourself and then step back and go, I'm bending out of tune. Oh, that G string's ringing when I'm playing that riff. It's a great way to monitor your progress. So get your phone out, film yourself, and just keep a record of how you're getting on. Tip number 3 is practice away from your instrument. Whenever you're listening to a piece of music, try to get yourself into the piece of music. Try to understand how and why the music feels a certain way. So that means understanding the quarter notes, 8th notes, 16th notes. So count away with the music. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Get your body involved with it. Tap your legs. That drive people crazy. Tap your legs, tap your foot, nod your head. This will help you understand how music is working. And that means that if you have a deeper understanding of that, when you start playing your guitar, you can then understand what you need to do to join in with the music. It's something I do all the time. Whenever I listen to a piece of music, I'm studying how is it put together. I'm sort of looking under the bonnet of why does it feel this way. And I find it so useful when I'm listening to just listen and then move my body to it. I don't mean dance in the middle of the street. You can do that if you want. What I mean is almost think away from your guitar and listen to why the music feels a certain way. Okay, it's a great thing to do. And the more you do it, the more you'll understand what you need to do when you're playing. Tip number 4 is a really important one for me. There's a story about James Brown. Apparently when he was auditioning for new guitar players, he would give them a part to play, something like this. And then he would just watch them play, and he would time how long it would take them to play something extra. Add. And he wasn't looking for that. He just wanted someone who would play the part and nail it down, hold it down, and not change what he was after. Usually the one that could play the longest, restraining themselves from adding a little fill or something like that, that would be the one he'd choose. Now, I don't know if you've ever been out, seen a gig, watched a bass player, drummer, guitar player, keyboard player, and noticed how many times they will do a fill, do a little extra bit. I do it, I'm guilty of doing it myself. I do it all the time. Sometimes I'm playing a part and I just add a little extra bit in, maybe every 8 bars. But I really, really try to fight the urge to do that. Because what I've realized is the more I do it, someone else will be doing it at the same time. If the bass player and the guitar player and the keyboard player all do a fill at the same time, what that does is it actually weakens the music a little bit. If the drummer joins in, does a little fill every 4 bars, it weakens the groove of the music a little bit. Trying to play with some restraint, trying to stop yourself from adding too much in, overplaying. It's a thing that you really should be thinking about. Try not to overplay. I always think about a traffic junction, a cross junction with traffic lights. If all the cars went at the same time, there's going to be chaos, going to be a massive crash. And that's how I think of it in musical terms as well. Really, really try to fight the urge to add that little bit in all the time. The other thing it does is it has the effect of, if you're playing less, when you do something extra, every now and then, it actually sounds a bit more important. If you're adding extra bits in all the time, they will all lose their value a little bit. So that's a little tip that I think is really useful for making things sound a bit more musical. Tip number 5 is a really useful one for if you're ever recording anything, whether you're in a band and you're recording in a studio or you're just recording at home. After every take and before every take, check your tuning. Guitars will seem like they're in tune when you run them through your tuner. You've got E, A, D, G, B and E all in tune. Everything sounds great with your open chord here, but sometimes if you're playing an E minor 7, it might not be in tune. You might find that the intonation in your guitar is slightly out. I will often tune to the chord that I'm playing. I will play each note of the chord into the tuner and make sure that each note of that chord is in tune. I'll do it also when I'm doing single note lines. I will, say if I had to play, I will check that those notes are all in tune with the tuner. I do it after every take, I tune up, and before every take I make sure I'm in tune. And I will even tune for sections of a song if the guitar is not in tune in that particular area. Tuning is really important, especially when you're recording, because you can't undo it. You can't go back and fix that. So that's one thing that I do a lot. It's one of the most important things to have on your pedal board, or even if you've got a little headstock tuner, and listen critically for whether it's in tune or not. I used to spend, after every take, I worked with producers that would go, check your tuning. The tuner should be one of your most used pedals. I hope you found those tips really useful. Hopefully they help you. Thanks for watching. If you stick around, there'll be another video for you to watch right here.